The 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe now has more standard features, a brand new plug-in hybrid option, and this new XRT trim level to be a little more rugged. Well, today we're going to take a full detailed look at all the exterior details, hop inside, look at the interior features, and get it out on the road for a test drive. Can't wait to show it to you. Real quick, thank you so much for watching. My name is Nolan. I do full reviews like this every single week, so I don't waste your time. If you want to skip around from part to part and go exactly where you want to see in the video, look in the description below because I've got chapters and timestamps written out so you can skip around wherever you want. But let's get started. Now I wanted to start things off under the hood because Hyundai gives you a brand new powertrain option. It's now a plug-in hybrid available with 30 miles of electric range and 261 horsepower. Now those aren't great numbers. It's not as much as like the RAV4 Prime, but this is also a little bit bigger, but still, at least you have the option of a plug-in hybrid. But under the hood in this particular model is the base engine, which is on the lowest few trims, including this XRT. It's a direct and port injected 2.5 liter four-cylinder with 191 horsepower and an 8-speed automatic transmission. It can come in front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. If you want to get more power and torque, you can go up to the limited or calligraphy trims and get a 2.5 liter turbocharged four-cylinder with quite a bit more power and over 300 pound-feet of torque. The crazy thing though is the miles per gallon in this smaller, less powerful all-wheel drive model is 24 miles per gallon combined with 25 on the highway. But if you go up to the turbo, you still get 24 miles per gallon combined with all-wheel drive. So if efficiency is a big deal, this isn't really worth it unless you go for front-wheel drive. But there is also a hybrid model available that still will give you over 30 miles per gallon combined. Just wanted to share those with you. You've got several different powertrains options, but let's go ahead and look at the exterior. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at all of these exterior details. Now this is the XRT trim level, which is new for 2022, and it kind of slides right in the middle, and they market this as a little bit more of a rugged looking Santa Fe, and we'll talk about that in this exterior look. So up front, it's going to give you a dark grille and a darker lower front bumper, a little different fascia. It's just kind of some black plastic. It's really nothing that's actually aggressive. It's just a little bit of an aesthetic look. But coming over here, Hyundai's got these unique headlights. So you've got the accent lights, you've got LED daytime running lights. LED headlights are standard, but these LED reflector headlights are actually pretty poor. The upper trims will give you projector headlights, which do much better, but these actually are really pretty poor and get the worst possible rating from the IIHS. And you'll see you got an incandescent turn signal there as well. Now the paint color on this particular Santa Fe is Stormy Sea. It's just a blue color. It's kind of a nice darker blue, but the XRT, as you can see, it's going to give you these 18-inch darker wheels, the darker cladding on the bottom of the vehicle, so just a little bit more of an overall rugged look, and even the black mirrors are included with that as well. Another thing included with the XRT are these little side steps, which are completely pointless. Yes, you can actually step on them to get in, but this vehicle is already pretty low and they just get in the way. One nice thing about the mirrors though is that these LED turn signals are now standard on every trim in the later part of 2022, and then the blind spot indicator is going to be standard on every trim as well for most 2022 models. So they also give you a puddle light to where these door handles will light up, and these door handles even have a little bit of accent on top of them to give you a little nicer look paired with the chrome that goes around the windows. And Hyundai gives you the option of some really nice big bulky rails up top, so those crossbars are pretty elevated to be able to fit quite a few things up there. And dimensionally, this is about 188 inches long, which is, it's a 2-row, and it's bigger than compact 2-rows and smaller than mid-size 3-rows, so it just fits kind of right in the middle of the mid-size 2-row class. Then coming to the back, you're going to get some aspects of LED back here, depending on the trim upper levels. You got an incandescent red turn signal down there. I'm not a huge fan of the turn signal being so low. It's probably more easily missed, but what do you think of the rear end design? With a little bit of body cladding down here as well, and kind of a thicker exhaust outlet. Now here's the thing, you can probably hear it beeping a little bit. You'll see the blinker flash. This has the smart lift gate to where it can automatically open up if you stand back here for just a few seconds. You can turn that off or on, but the cargo space back here is definitely good. This is 36 cubic feet. And by the way, that smart liftgate is on this trim, optional and standard on the upper trims. Otherwise, it's just a regular power gate if you don't want that, and there's a button and a handle up there. But 36 cubic feet back here, which is definitely good. Swallows things up well. A lot of surface area right here, but my favorite part is underneath the floor, which I'll show you in a second. You still get a little hook right there, 12-volt power outlet, power folding seats over there, a little storage area. Panning over, you get the same little hook on this side as well, which is good for a net or grocery bags, whatever you want to do. But look at this. Under here, wow, we've got a good sized storage area right here for some extra stuff. You know, if you want to throw something in there, you've got a jack right there. The spare tire is actually underneath of the bottom of the vehicle. And then in this one, look at this. You've got huge sections of storage. So not only do you have good storage above, you've got excellent storage underneath of here as well. And I was surprised to see power folding seats here. You won't find these on the base model, but I've got a car seat right there, so I can't show you that. But otherwise, there's 72 cubic feet of space with all the seats folded down, and that folds down super flat, super duper flat, because that seat bottom actually moves. So nice large storage area for a two-row. Hyundai gives us a smart proximity key on every trim except the base model, and that even includes remote start on here. And the way this works is you've got just the sensor in the back or this little button to lock it. That's only on the front door, not on the back door. It would definitely be nice to see it on the back door if you're loading stuff, etc. Now moving into the front seats, first of all, over on the door, you're going to get kind of a different, unique pattern. You'll find this pattern on the inside. It is somewhat soft up above and soft down here around your arm, or somewhat soft, I should say. And there's a little bit of storage with a bottle holder right there. That works okay. The base model is going to give you manual adjustable seats, but we have 10-way power adjustment here. You can get, I'll show you the adjustments in a second, but these are cloth seats on here. You can move up in trim level and get leather seats, but I like these big side bolsters. It doesn't feel aggressive, but it's actually, you know, somewhat supportive. So that is nice to see. And then coming down, we've got 2-way lumbar support with our 10-way power. The upper trims will give you 4-way lumbar support over here. In the US, these seats are going to be heated on everything except the base model, and then if you want ventilated seats or memory settings, you'll have to move up in trim level. Now moving into the back seat, one really cool thing is that on some trim levels, you'll get this shade. So you can pull this up. Perfect shade, works really well. Even got a little bottle holder down there and still some soft material, somewhat soft for this armrest. Then inside we get the same cloth seats, and it's a pretty decent and spacious, actually quite spacious back seat overall, especially for a two-row. Now look at the car seat. I can have a car seat back there, and I can even have it behind myself and still have my seat where I want it. And then sitting behind myself at 5'9", as you can see, I've got lots of knee space, lots of foot space, a minimal hump in the middle, then you've got air conditioning vents and a couple of charging ports down there. It's always good to see a center folding armrest with some padding and some small little bottle holders. And headroom back here is actually really quite good. I mean, you can probably be fairly tall and be able to fit back here. These seats can also recline a really long ways. I'm really surprised by this. If you want heated seats, you're going to have to move up to the upper trim levels, and you can move up to the upper trim levels and get a 115 volt 3-prong plug-in back here too. Now moving inside, the push button start is right over here. Push button right there, start it up. Big digital display. I'll talk about some of the features in just a sec. So a leather steering wheel is going to be on everything except the base model, and you can get it heated on the upper trim levels, not on this one. But it's a comfortable steering wheel. I like the leather. You've got easy to use controls on both sides for your display, for your cruise control, smart cruise control, all that good stuff. This 12.3-inch display is all digital that we've seen in some other Hyundai products, and it's on this trim level and the upper trim levels. It's completely controlled with the steering wheel, so there's a decent amount of information, actually quite a bit of information you can see on here, from driver assist features to actual like trip computer information as well. So just depends what you want to see. You can see it, including a digital speedometer, which is nice. And you can customize the way it looks. So the like kind of bluish greenish color can be changed to different themes as well. Then moving over here, so first of all, the overall interior design, you know, is nothing fancy. It's not going to blow you away. It's not full of soft luxury type materials, and it doesn't have to be, but it's got a good functional layout, and there's some good storage that I'll show you in a second. But this is an 8-inch screen, and you've got physical knobs, which is nice. These are not actual buttons. They're all touch sensitive, but they still work just fine. This is not as modern and updated as some of Hyundai's newest screens and the larger screens. Like you can get a larger screen on upper trim levels, 10 1/4 with navigation, but this one pretty much has everything that I want. You can customize this star to go to Apple CarPlay or Android Auto or whatever you want to go to, and it's actually wireless. So this is completely wireless Apple CarPlay on here because we have a wireless charging mat right there. Throw that in there, have your Bluetooth on, you can hook it up without being plugged in, or you can plug it in too if you want. But wireless charging, wireless CarPlay, that's good to see. You don't even get wireless CarPlay or Apple Android or Android Auto on the upper trim levels though, just on the smaller screen. This does still have a decent amount of customization that you can go through. These aren't the most responsive or the fastest, as you can see with that. You still have some settings you can customize, but just not quite as much as you get with some others. While we're up here, let's go into reverse. We've just got a basic backup camera. You can get a surround view monitor on the upper trim levels. Just down here, this looks a lot like the Palisade, if you ask me, this whole layout of everything right here. We've got dual zone climate control right here. This will be on everything except the base model. It's very easy to operate, nice clear buttons. You and your passenger get your own controls. Push button shifter right here that we're starting to see more common everywhere else. Auto stop start, brake hold, and then your drive mode selection right here. And you can even lock your differential if you're in some real sticky situations. And then heated seats right here. If you have ventilated seats, you'll have those over here as well. Just down from there, you've got this cover that can be folded over. Otherwise, you've got a bottle holder and then a USB port to plug into our wireless charging bin right there, and then another bottle holder. So these bottle holders, I kind of like the staggered up and down level of them. They work well, and you can have this closed off if you want and still have your bottle holders open. Moving back here, we've got, this is where I get a little picky. So this is soft and nice, but it doesn't go very far forward. And this is hard plastic. So if your elbow wants to find its way forward, it's just really uncomfortable right here. So something to keep in mind. Push it open, you've got a little tray right there, and then a decent sized storage area down below. One thing I really like is underneath the center console is a separate storage area with a 12-volt power outlet and USB port, a rubber liner, so you can throw stuff down there and have no problems hiding it. There's also a nice little storage bin over here, and you can see my daughter found it with her little toy stuff over here and little dolls, but you can fit some stuff under there, no problems. Overhead, we get an automatic dimming rearview mirror with garage controls. And then right here, these are not full LED, these are just regular incandescent interior lights, which are just fine. And then you've got a large mirror, a vanity light up there, and then the entire visor will slide out. We do not have a roof, but if you want a panoramic roof, that will be on the upper trim levels. Visibility wise, looking out the back, pretty standard for SUVs. Really not too bad because that rear window is better. We don't have any ambient lighting in here. If you want some, you'll have to move up to the top end calligraphy trim. All right, y'all, we are getting going on this test drive in this Hyundai Santa Fe, and I'm going to give you my first impressions and talk about ride comfort, noise, and overall driving dynamics and living with this Hyundai Santa Fe. Now, my first impression right off the bat is that this base 4-cylinder is really lackluster and underpowered, and it's pretty noisy too. Now, for most people, this is probably going to be fine, but if you want a little more power, or if you drive on the interstate or highways and you got to get going, this is not the best, especially if you're going to be hauling a family around. Now, I was passing somebody one time on a highway, just a 2-laner, and I had plenty of room, plenty of time in most vehicles, but man, this thing made me nervous. But otherwise, the handling on here is perfectly fine. It actually handles fairly well for this class. It doesn't have too much body lean, and the steering, weight of the steering is kind of middle of the road. It's not too heavy, but it's not super flimsy and light either. And this does have a pretty advanced driver assist system. You've got smart cruise control. Oh, we lost our lane. We've got smart cruise control. We've got lane centering technology, lane keeping system, blind spot indicators. You've got a lot of that stuff on here, and you can override any of it or turn any of it off if you want as well. But day-to-day driving, I like everything in here. The ergonomics, I really like the extra storage areas in here, the display, the comfort controls. I mean, things work pretty well in the Santa Fe. And one of the biggest things is the road noise and wind noise. Wind noise is good, not excellent. Do have laminated glass, so that's good, but the road noise is very minimal. I love the fact that we've got some pretty minimal road noise overall. Now I have us in sport mode, which doesn't do a lot in this. It just kind of holds the RPMs a little bit more, and we got grandma in front of us, so I'm gonna pedal it down. And there's 60. Man, this thing has to work hard, and it's holding those RPMs Jeepers. It's a pretty ruckus engine. So you've got different drive modes over here. I keep it in smart mode quite a bit because it will toggle between sport mode or comfort mode depending on your driving dynamics and characteristics at the time. So it can kind of go back and forth between if you want it to. But if you live on curvy mountain roads, this is not ideal, but it's not bad either because it does hug the road as good as most two rows in this class are going to do. So unless you move up to a luxury type vehicle, this is going to be just fine. But overall, gotta say, I like driving the Santa Fe. It's been good hauling my family around, good storage, good practicality. I really love how quiet it is for this class. This is even quieter than the recent Lexus NX, the 2022 Lexus NX that was redesigned that I had just a week ago. It's even quieter than that, so that's really nice to see. But hope you enjoyed this test drive and I answered your questions about the driving dynamics, but let's go ahead and wrap things up. So to wrap things up on this 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe, it's really a good value two-row vehicle that's bigger than the compact class two-row type of vehicle. They now offer a plug-in hybrid, even a regular hybrid, and a couple other different powertrain options to really pick the Santa Fe that you want. Now this XRT trim level is pretty much just an aesthetics package. So if this is the way that you want it to look, this is what you got to go for. Otherwise, if you move up in trim level, you get quite a few features, and overall Hyundai really gives you a nice vehicle for the money. What do you think of this two-row Santa Fe? Leave your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear what you think. I have a video of a couple older Santa Fe's if you want to check those out in the description below. But I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe down below if you want to see more full reviews just like this. But have a great day.